Imagine this. You wake up one morning. The sun is just starting to rise, and instead of rushing into the day with coffee in hand, you step outside into the crisp air. In front of you, the world is quiet, almost meditative. And then you notice something fascinating. In Japan, thousands of men and women in their 70s, 80s, even 90s are out there too. They're not power walking, they're not jogging, they're not chasing the latest workout trend. They're simply moving with grace, slowly, intentionally, as if every step was a gentle conversation between their body and their mind. Now here's the part that makes scientists lean forward in their chairs. These elders aren't just surviving longer, they're thriving longer. Their joints stay supple, their memory stays sharp, their balance feels steady, like people 20 years younger. And the secret? It isn't hidden in expensive gyms or miracle supplements. It's in 6 simple daily movements that, when practiced with care, transform the way we age. Today, I want to take you through them one by one. But instead of giving you a cold list of exercises, let's treat this like a story, like advice from a friend who also happens to have a stethoscope around their neck. Think of me as sitting across from you, coffee in hand, explaining why these movements matter, how they feel, and why they could change your life. Let's start with the foundation, the simplest and yet one of the most powerful practices, the art of slow walking, or what the Japanese call sampo. At first glance, it looks almost laughable. Slow walking. Isn't that just walking badly? In the West, we think of walking as something you do to get somewhere. You rush to the store. You walk the dog quickly before dinner. You circle the block as exercise. But in Japan, elders treat sampo like a kind of sacred medicine. It's not about where you're going. It's about how you go. Picture this. Instead of striding quickly, you slow everything down. Your steps are deliberate, almost like you're rolling your foot across the earth. Heel, arch, toes. With each step, your entire foot kisses the ground, and in return, the ground whispers back through the 33 joints in each foot. Those signals climb up through your nervous system, feeding your brain with information about balance, space, and stability. It's like tuning the radio of your body to perfect clarity. Now here's the science, stripped of jargon. A team at Kyoto University followed 3,000 seniors for 10 years. Those who practiced daily sampo had 62% less arterial stiffness. In other words, their blood vessels stayed younger. Their blood pressure dropped, on average by 12 points on the top number and 8 points on the bottom. That's the difference between needing medication and living free of it, all from walking slower. Can you imagine? But it doesn't stop with the heart. When researchers asked Western seniors to try sampo for just 8 weeks, their balance improved dramatically. One measure they used was single-leg standing time. How long can you stand on one leg without wobbling? The average improvement was 45 seconds longer. That's the difference between catching yourself when you stumble or ending up with a fractured hip. Why does this happen? It comes down to rhythm. In sampo, breathing isn't just background noise. It's part of the choreography. 1 breath in for 2 steps. Hold for 2. Exhale for 4. Try it right now in your chair. Inhale, 2 steps. Hold, 2 steps. Exhale, 4. Feel how the breath slows you down. That rhythm doesn't just calm you, it actually synchronizes your cardiovascular and nervous systems. It's like getting 2 orchestras, your heart and your brain, to play in harmony instead of competing for attention. Western power walking, with its arms pumping and feet pounding, misses this subtle magic. Faster isn't better. It's like racing through a fine meal without tasting it. Sampo is savoring each bite. Now let's talk about the best time to do it. Japanese elders often practice in the morning, before breakfast. Why? Because cortisol, your natural wake-up hormone, peaks then. Instead of letting that hormone create anxiety, they channel it into focus and calm. It's like redirecting a rushing river into a peaceful stream. And terrain matters. The University of Tokyo discovered something brilliant. Seniors who practiced on grass or dirt paths had 20% better joint mobility than those who stuck to concrete sidewalks. It's not surprising, is it? The earth is alive. It shifts. It gives. It challenges tiny stabilizing muscles that a flat treadmill never touches. Walking on natural ground is like playing jazz. Unpredictable, fluid, creative. Walking on a treadmill is like listening to the same metronome tick, tick, tick. You don't need to start big. 10 minutes a day is enough. Add a little more each week until you're at 20 or 30 minutes. Think of it as brushing your teeth, not something you debate, just part of being alive. Let me tell you a little image that stuck with me. One Japanese researcher said that when his grandmother practiced sampo, she looked like she was painting the air with her body. Each step was a brushstroke, soft but intentional. Isn't that beautiful? That's what this is. Not exercise, not a chore, but an art form. So what happens if you start? Your blood pressure gently falls, your balance steadies, your joints loosen, and your brain lights up with fresh signals, keeping you sharp. And all it asks is a little slowness in a world that's always in a rush. Now, let me ask you, when was the last time you slowed down on purpose? Not because you were tired, not because you had no choice, but because you chose to. That's Sampo. It's choosing presence over haste. It's giving your body and mind a daily gift that costs nothing but pays you back in years of life. Close your eyes for a second and imagine this. It's early morning in Japan. The sun is barely awake. The streets are quiet, and suddenly, a soft piano melody floats out of radios and loudspeakers. It's 6:30 sharp, and in living rooms, in parks, even in office courtyards, millions of people stand up together and begin moving. Slowly, gently, almost like a wave spreading across the country. That's Radio Taiso. Now don't let the name fool you. It's not a workout routine, not in the way we think of exercise. It's 3 short minutes of flowing movement, 13 stretches linked together like a dance. No sweating, no pushing, no gritted teeth, just gentle circles, bends, twists, and breaths. The kind of movement that feels more like shaking the morning stiffness off your body than training. Here's why it matters. After a night of sleep, your joints are like door hinges that haven't been touched in hours. A little sticky, a little rusty. Radio Taiso is like opening every door in your house so the hinges don't creak. Within minutes, the fluid in your joints warms up, circulation gets moving, and your muscles remember how to cooperate. Studies from Osaka showed that older adults who practiced these morning stretches every day had far fewer falls, less back pain, and kept full mobility in their shoulders and hips, even in their 80s. Isn't that incredible? Picture the movements. Arms rising with a deep inhale, as if you're welcoming the day. Shoulders circling like you're loosening a heavy coat. A gentle twist of the spine. Side bends that let your ribs breathe. Light marching in place. Even shallow squats. Not the kind that make you sweat, but the kind that whisper to your knees and hips, "I still need you." It's continuous. It's smooth. It's almost like moving through warm water. What I love about this practice is how short it is. 3 minutes and 15 seconds. That's less than the time you'd spend waiting for your coffee to brew. And yet the body treats it like medicine. Blood pressure softens, balance improves, aches fade. People who do it daily aren't just more flexible, they feel safer in their own skin. Their bodies trust themselves again. And here's the real secret. It's not about stretching hard, it's about stretching often. You don't need fancy mats or gym clothes. You don't even need space. Just stand up beside your bed or in your kitchen while the kettle heats and flow through it. The Japanese have been doing this since 1928, and companies that still practice it together see fewer sick days and more energy at work. That's not coincidence, that's consistency. So let me ask you this, what's 3 minutes worth to you? 3 minutes of scrolling on your phone, or 3 minutes of oiling your joints, calming your nervous system, and giving yourself a smoother start to the day? The answer is obvious, isn't it? Radio Taiso isn't about being young again. It's about staying mobile, staying independent, and waking up each morning with a body that feels ready instead of stiff. Try it tomorrow. Don't worry if you forget the exact order. Just move gently, continuously, like you're greeting the day with your whole body. And when you've tried it, you'll understand why millions of elders in Japan still rise at dawn, still play that soft piano tune, and still let those 3 minutes carry them through decades of healthy living. Now, let me take you somewhere unexpected. Picture a park in Tokyo on a quiet afternoon. Elderly men and women are gathered, chatting with friends, maybe tending to small gardens. But here's the thing that might surprise you. They're not sitting on benches. They're not leaning on canes. They're resting in a deep squat. Heels flat, hips low, backs relaxed, sometimes for 10, 20, even 30 minutes at a time. And the look on their faces? Completely at ease. Meanwhile, in much of the Western world, many people over 60 can't hold that position for more than 10 seconds without wincing. Why is that? Chairs. We've spent a lifetime sitting in chairs, losing a movement that humans were once born to master. The Japanese, on the other hand, never gave it up. And that one habit might be the reason so many of them stay independent well into their 90s. Think of the squat as a built-in reset button for the body. When you sink down, your hips open to their full range, like a door swinging wide instead of creaking half open. Your ankles stretch, your spine decompresses, and your pelvic floor, the muscles that quietly protect your bladder and stability, get stronger without you even noticing. It's not exercise in the sweaty, push-harder sense. It's simply letting your body remember what it was designed to do. The science is clear here too. Researchers in Tokyo followed 5,000 seniors for 12 years. Those who could comfortably hold a squat for at least 2 minutes had a 70% lower risk of needing assisted living. 70%. That's not just numbers, that's years of independence, years of being able to tie your own shoes, pick something up from the floor, or play with your grandchildren without fear. Let me give you an image. Imagine your spine like a stack of sponges between bricks. When you sit in a chair all day, those sponges dry out. But when you drop into a squat, pressure changes in just the right way, drawing nutrient-rich fluid back into the discs. They plump up again. They stay alive. That's why cultures where squatting is still normal, India, parts of Africa, rural Asia, have far fewer hip replacements and much less chronic back pain. It's not genetics, it's practice. Now I know what you might be thinking. That sounds impossible. My knees would never forgive me, and you're right to be cautious. You don't go from stiff hips to 30-minute squats overnight. You build it, like anything else. Start small, back against a wall, feet shoulder-width apart, toes turned out slightly. Lower yourself slowly, only as far as feels safe, and let your heels be supported with a rolled towel if they don't reach the floor. 30 seconds today is enough. Then up, shake it out, and try again later. 5 short rests a day will do more for you than forcing one long one. And here's the trick, make it functional. Waiting for the kettle, squat. Talking to a grandchild, squat. Sorting a low shelf, squat instead of bending at the waist. This way it doesn't feel like exercise, it feels like life, and your body responds because it recognizes this movement as natural, not artificial. What's beautiful is how it carries over. Stronger hips mean steadier walking. Flexible ankles mean fewer stumbles. A supple spine means less aching when you stand. And let's not forget the pelvic floor support means more confidence in situations most people don't want to talk about. Yes, even bladder control improves. So what would it feel like if you could get back that natural human posture, to rest in a squat without pain, to chat with a friend or tend to your plants while your joints stretch and your spine sighs with relief? That's not a fantasy. That's your body's memory waiting to be unlocked. Try this today. Hold on to the back of a chair. Drop just a little lower than yesterday, and breathe. Even half a squat done often starts the process. Over time you'll notice small miracles. Shoes tied more easily, garden chores less tiring, balance steadier on uneven ground. The deep squat rest is not about looking younger. It's about moving like your body remembers how. And once you get a taste of that freedom, you won't want to give it up. Let me ask you something simple. How long can you stand on one leg? 10 seconds? Maybe 15 before you start wobbling? You might laugh at the idea, but here's the truth. That little test is one of the strongest predictors of how long and how well you'll live. In Japan, doctors actually prescribe it. Not a pill, not a supplement, just standing on one leg for a minute, twice a day. Sounds almost ridiculous, right? But the science is anything but silly. Researchers at Fukuoka University tracked more than 12,000 older adults for 15 years. Those who practiced single-leg standing had 68% fewer hip fractures, 75% fewer falls, and even showed more gray matter in the brain, the very tissue that keeps your coordination sharp. In other words, this tiny habit keeps both your bones and your brain younger. Why does it work so well? Because balance isn't passive. When you lift one foot, your whole body goes into action. Muscles fire in your ankles, your hips, your core. Tiny sensors in your joints send constant updates to your brain. We're tipping a little forward, correct it. Leaning left, pull it back. Your inner ear sharpens, your eyes lock on a steady point, and thousands of micro adjustments happen every single minute. You don't feel it, but your nervous system is training itself like a high-performance athlete. Here's the best part. You don't need extra time in your schedule. Japanese elders often practice while brushing their teeth. 2 minutes, done. No gym, no mat, no excuses. Over time it becomes automatic, like washing your hands or making your bed. And the benefits? They sneak up on you. Stairs feel steadier. Curbs aren't scary. A stumble doesn't end in a fall, because your body has already rehearsed the recovery 1,000 times. Now if you're thinking, but my balance is terrible, don't worry. Everyone starts small. Begin near a wall or sturdy chair, lift one foot just an inch, and hold for 30 seconds. Focus your eyes about 10 feet ahead, breathe normally, and let your body find its rhythm. As it gets easier, close your eyes for a few seconds. That's when your other systems really wake up. Or stand on a folded towel to add a little wobble. Each tiny upgrade keeps your brain flexible, your reflexes quick. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two people, the same age. One can stand on one leg for 30 seconds, the other can't manage more than 3. Statistically, the first has the mortality risk of someone 10 years younger. 10 years given back by a minute a day. Isn't that astonishing? So here's my question for you. Tonight, when you brush your teeth, will you try it? Just lift one foot, breathe, and notice how alive your body feels keeping you upright. It's so simple, it feels like cheating. But this is the kind of medicine the Japanese have mastered. Effortless, every day, hidden in plain sight. Because aging gracefully isn't about doing more. Sometimes it's about doing less, but doing it with intention. And if a child can balance on one foot for fun, why shouldn't you reclaim that same playful skill for your health? Picture this for a moment. You walk into a traditional Japanese home. Shoes off at the door, tatami mats on the floor, and a family gathered for dinner. But instead of chairs around a tall table, everyone is seated on the floor, cross-legged, kneeling, or in a gentle side sit. Later, when the meal is done, they rise smoothly back to standing without thinking twice. And they do this, not once, not twice, but dozens of times every single day. Meals, tea, conversations, television, all of it happens down on the floor. Now why does this matter? Because every single transition, standing down to sitting, then rising back up again, is a full-body workout in disguise. You're asking your hips to flex, your knees to bend, your core to stabilize, your balance to stay steady, and your brain to plan the sequence in the right order. It looks simple, but beneath the surface, it's one of the most complex movements a human can perform. And in Japan, it's second nature. The research here is fascinating. Scientists at the University of Tsukuba studied 10,000 seniors and compared those who sat on the floor regularly with those who lived mostly in chairs. The difference was staggering. The floor sitters had 40% more leg strength, 50% better hip flexibility, and they could rise unassisted well into their 90s. Even their cognitive scores were 15% higher. Why? Because the brain has to coordinate every little step of the transition. Lower one knee, shift your weight, stabilize with your hands if needed, and then reverse the whole process. It's like a mini workout for the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that controls planning and focus. Think of it this way. Getting down to the floor and back up again is like a health exam you can perform at home every single day. If you can do it smoothly, without using your hands, studies suggest you could live 6 years longer than someone who struggles. 6 years. That's not a little bonus, that's an entire chapter of your life. Now I can almost hear you saying, there's no way I could do that. And I get it. If your knees ache, if your hips are stiff, the floor feels like enemy territory. But here's the good news. You don't have to dive straight into a perfect kneel and rise. You build it, step by step. Start by using a low stool as an in-between station. Lower yourself with your hands on it, then gently kneel. To stand, place one foot forward, push through your leg, and return upright. Over weeks, you'll need your hands less and less. Over months, the movement will feel natural again. And here's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to be a separate exercise. You can fold it into daily life. Watching television? Try sitting on a cushion on the floor instead of the couch. Reading a book? Take it down to the carpet for a while. Playing with grandchildren? That's the perfect chance. Every transition counts. Every rise and descent tells your body, stay capable, stay ready. I'll give you an image to hold on to. Imagine a 90-year-old in Japan, sitting on the floor for tea, then rising gracefully to greet a guest. No groaning, no helping hand, no fear of falling. Now picture a 90-year-old in much of the West, struggling to get out of a chair. That's the gap these transitions create. The difference between enduring old age and living it fully. So tonight, why not try it? Put a cushion on the carpet, lower yourself down gently, even if it takes support, and then rise. Do it 2 or 3 times. Tomorrow, maybe 4. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is practice. Your body will learn, your joints will soften, your brain will sharpen, and before you know it, something that once felt impossible will feel like second nature again. Floor-sitting transitions aren't just about moving your body, they're about reclaiming a skill that makes independence possible, right up to the final decades of life. And there you have it. 6 movements. None of them flashy. None of them requiring machines or memberships or hours of your day. Just simple, human patterns. The kind your body already knows, the kind your ancestors practiced without thinking. Slow walking to calm your heart. Morning stretches to oil your joints. Squats to keep your hips and spine alive. Balancing on one leg to sharpen your brain. Rising from the floor to stay independent. And the towel twist, the little ritual that lights up every cell in your body. When you put them together, you get something far greater than the sum of its parts. A system that protects your balance, your strength, your memory, and your independence. A way of living that doesn't just add years to your life, but life to your years. Now I'll ask you the same question I ask my own patients. Which of these can you start with today? Not all 6, not perfectly, just one. 10 minutes of slow walking in the morning, a gentle squat by the counter, a towel twist before bed. Small steps, done daily, become habits. And habits, over time, change the way you age. The Japanese elders have shown us the path. Science has confirmed what tradition always knew, and now the choice is yours. Will you wait until stiffness, or weakness, or fear of falling forces your hand, or will you start now, gently, quietly, one movement at a time? If this message resonates with you, share it with someone you love, a partner, a parent, a friend who deserves a longer, healthier life. And if you'd like to keep learning small, powerful ways to protect your health, feel free to subscribe, not because numbers matter, but because your future self will thank you for it. So tomorrow morning, when the day is just beginning, step outside, breathe, move slowly, let your body remember what it was built for. 6 movements, 1 secret, and maybe, just maybe, 7 more years of life waiting for you.